So these are Oiler's gloves, 1.0 you could say, or 1.5, version 1.5. This is the pattern that David J. Guyton put for sale on the internet for use to promote his books. This is a pattern for an Iron Man gauntlet, or Iron Man-like gauntlet. I modified it a little bit, and I put it on a different glove than he recommended. This is a really, really quick version. It's lasted me almost a year, as you could see. I mean, the glue is everywhere, and things are cracking off, which is why I'm going to make new ones. This is just galvanized sheet steel that I painted to look like brass, and you can tell when it's weathering off. But I'm going to actually make them out of real brass now and attach them to some really, really nice skin-tight neoprene gloves with a strap on the underside so that everything looks a little bit cleaner. This is the new glove I'm going to be using. It's a neoprene police glove, SWAT type glove. It's got these reinforced fingertips for grip, and the surface I believe will be a little bit better to glue to. I've looked up some of how neoprene reacts with certain glues and things, and how this hand glues, and I think it'll work out a little bit better and be a lot stronger, especially with the strap on the bottom. And these are a lot tighter to my skin than the other ones were, a little bit more form-fitting, except for the pinky tip. My pinky is a little bit short, so I can never get gloves that fit right on the pinky, but that's the new glove where everything's going to get glued onto. So just wanted to show this. This is my finished product for my overlay. It's a little rough, which is kind of what I wanted. It turned out a little bit different than I was intending, but I actually like this better than what I was intending. So to achieve this effect with the electro etching, what I did was I cut out my hand shape, which just from a paper template, we just cut it out of this sheet brass. And then I took it outside and I sprayed it with a layer of Flexi Dip, actually a couple layers of Flexi Dip. And you can see over here I actually didn't put enough. It's kind of bubbly and it didn't come out of the can right, but that's okay. And then I took this hex template that I got just at a hobby store, this hexagon honeycomb template, laid it on top of there, and then sprayed some black spray paint and pulled it off, and there was my pattern. So now I am taking my X-Acto knife and I am just slicing. You can see all my little slices there in the gold. No slices that I'm doing, and I'm just following all the slices and edges, and then you take the side of the X-Acto knife and you scrape the Flexi Dip off, so you get this. And it's a little uneven right now. I'm going to clean that up. But you can also do the same thing with electrical tape as I've done on the fingers. I've done the electrical tape just to block off the edge where I'm going to be etching, and then I'm going to come in here and do like caution stripes with electrical tape and etch that out. And there is an easier method of printing out your pattern from the computer with ink onto like a vellum or even onto paper, depending on how you do it, and ironing the pattern, the ink onto the metal, and the ink creates a impenetrable barrier for the electrical current, since it's carbon based, and it won't etch the metal. And you could do that, and the actual time-consuming process of cutting these out will be eliminated, but it will make the background brass a black tinge or a really, really dark tinge of the brass gold or the brass gold color, and I didn't want that. I wanted this subtle honeycomb effect, so that from a distance you're like, what's that? And you walk up and you're like, oh, that's really cool. That's kind of what I'm going for. So this works much more effectively, and it really kind of rusts up and ages that bronze layer underneath. And I just did, I don't know, I probably took off 2 or 3 thousandths of an inch. So here is my finished cutout on the honeycomb. I did cut out some of the intersections, just like right here, and here, just to give it some variation. And then the fingers, I just used electrical tape to do straight lines, which is the easiest, to do some sort of caution stripes in the etching. I thought that would look pretty cool, so we'll see how those turn out. So this is my electro etching setup. You connect the positive to whatever you're going to etch. I just used the bottom of a bottle because I didn't have any cups left to make a salt water. I just used regular old sea salt and water. And you just oversaturate the water with salt, so there's a little bit floating in the bottom, so you know that all the water is full of salt. So you have a greater chance of exciting the ions in the salt with electricity, which will etch and erode the metal. But the positive is hooked up to just a 8 AAA battery pack from Radio Shack. These are just a couple bucks. And I just electrical tape the ends of these connectors to that. You can use any kind of alligator clip you want, as long as it's metal. And then the negative I have, and I just took a piece of white cloth. Pretty much any white cloth will do, cotton-based cloth. And then you just dip it into the salt water. And you don't want to like soak it like crazy, but you do want to get it wet enough to where the water in the fabric will touch the metal on the alligator clip and will run a current through to the metal beneath. So hopefully I got enough on there. So we'll see how this goes. And it's working. See how it's discoloring right away? That's where the current is running through the salt water, and the current is exciting the salt ions and causing the surface of the metal to erode. It's really subtle, but you see how it creates these sort of greenish yellow puddles? Guess what? You're etching. So I've got my fingers cut out on my left hand, and they're all etched, and I've got them bent pretty much where I want them. You know, the template is designed for a skin-tight glove, and it's skin-tight, but the material is thick, so the joints don't all fit tightly, but that's okay. I smoothed everything out, and they don't seem to be catching on anything, except that pinky one did. I will have to fix that one a little bit. But they are actually holding on really well without glue on this glove. This is a neoprene tactical glove, again, and I really like it because I can do this and they don't work themselves off the fingers. They're staying right where they're at. I only see the tips working themselves off maybe about a 64th of an inch every 15 times or so that I do that, which means when I glue them they are not going to go anywhere, which makes me very, very happy. And since they don't really catch on anything, running this on the carpet and nothing's happening, I don't think I'll have to worry about these falling off or ripping open or bending open. They're working really, 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 really well. So I'm super happy about that. And it is definitely a stylistic change and upgrade from my previous glove. The other one looks a little bit more raw and rusty. I think I'll keep it around just in case I want to use them for other things or for events where I don't want to get them stolen or damaged. But this is awesome and I am very happy.